Welcome to Fossil Free Funds. This is going to be a brief tour of the basic functionality. When you come to fossilfreefunds.org, you are greeted with a search bar. You can take it and you can type in the name of any fund family. So for instance, Vanguard, and you'll get a lot to choose from, or you can see the search page for more. Or you can type in the ticker of a particular fund. So I'm going to pick VINIX, which is the Vanguard Institutional Index. That's the most held fund in all 401ks in the United States. Now you see that the default screen here, you come to the Carbon Underground 200 is selected. What that is the 100 largest coal and 100 largest oil and gas companies. So you can see there's 23 of them in VINIX, making up 5.09%, and it's $11 billion of investments. If you want to find other companies that have reserves, you would click on oil and gas industry, and you go up to 39 companies and 7.9%. If you want fossil-fired utilities, you can click right here. You can click for coal industry. They happen to have already divested from coal. As you can see, they got a green badge for clean on coal. These other badges they have dirty. So when you see all 5 badges green, that's what we call a 5-badge fund. And the Filthy 15 is coal utilities and coal extraction companies. That was the original divestment ask students organized in 2010 to ask their endowments to divest. Now what's new here is this carbon footprinting area. So what we've done is we've added up the scope 1, 2, and 3 carbon emissions from each of the companies within the fund. So if you mouse over here, you can see that it's 133.3 tons of carbon per $1 million US. So we took all of those carbon numbers and we divided by the dollar amount so that we could get an absolute value, so you could compare the fund to any benchmark or to each other. So we're comparing it here to the MSCI All World Index, which is at 205 tons. So you can see it's 35% less. There's a pull-down menu here if you want to compare it to a different index. For instance, you could compare it to the S&P 100, and it recalculates it. Now, the S&P 100 happens to be a very clean index, and so you can see that this particular fund is 82.3% more. If you scroll down here, you can type any amount into this window. So you could put in like 25,000. You hit submit, and it calculates the carbon emissions that you in your personal account have, as well as the dollar amount in fossil fuel companies. If you go down further, you can see the top 10 holdings. That's the gray bar is the amount, and the red bar is the carbon. So for instance, you can see here that Apple has a very small carbon footprint, as does Microsoft, but Exxon, which is 1.95% of the fund, is 5.45% of the emissions. So if they were to sell Exxon, that would reduce their carbon by a significant amount. If you go down further, you can see what the holdings are. For instance, this holds Exxon and Chevron, Schlumberger, and you can unfurl all of the holdings, Dominion, Southern, Halliburton, etc. So that's the basic functionality that's here, as well as the buttons down here to find the clean funds, which we'll get into on another video.